You are 6 years old the morning your life is sold. Not with a signature, not with a ceremony, with a handshake, a few shillings exchanged between your father, a man you will spend the rest of your life trying not to become, and a broad-shouldered stranger with coal dust permanently pressed into the lines of his face. The man smells like smoke and leather and something you cannot name yet. You will learn its name soon. It is called soot, and from this morning forward, it will live inside your lungs like a quiet, patient killer. Your mother does not come outside to watch you leave. Maybe she cannot bear it. Maybe she simply cannot afford to. In 1860s London, sentiment is a luxury for people who have enough bread to think beyond tomorrow. Your family has neither. 7 children sleep in 2 rooms in Whitechapel, where the walls sweat in winter, and the rats are bold enough to look you in the eye. You are not the youngest. That is the only reason you are the one walking away this morning and not one of your brothers. You are small. That is your value. That is the only thing about you that anyone has ever needed. The master sweep does not ask your name. He simply points down the road and you follow. His name is Mr. Griggs. He is not the worst of them, which, in this world, is the closest thing to a compliment a man like him will ever receive. He runs a small operation out of Southwark with 3 other boys, all older than you, all wearing the same expression, a kind of flattened blankness that you do not yet understand. You will. Within a month you will understand it perfectly. The training, if you can call it that, begins the next morning before sunrise. Griggs stands you in front of a chimney flue, no wider than your shoulders, and tells you to climb. You look up into the shaft and see nothing. Pure, absolute darkness, the kind that has weight to it, the kind that presses against your eyes and makes your chest feel like something is sitting on it. Up, he says, that is the full extent of your instruction. You learn by doing. You learn by suffering. You press your back against one side of the flue and your knees against the other, and you inch upward, scraping raw skin against rough brick until your elbows bleed, and your shoulders are bruised purple. The older boys call this technique backing and kneeing. You will do it 10,000 more times before you are done. The soot falls constantly. It falls into your eyes, your nose, your open mouth when you gasp for air. You learn to keep your lips pressed shut. You learn to breathe in shallow sips. You learn that your body is a tool, and tools do not complain. There is a specific humiliation reserved for boys in your trade that no history book bothers to record, to encourage you upward when fear roots your feet. Some masters light straw beneath the flue. They call it encouragement. The law, such as it is, calls it nothing at all. You are not protected by law. You are protected by nothing except your own legs and whatever survival instinct God saw fit to press into a 6-year-old body. On your 3rd day, you get stuck 12 feet up inside a chimney on Borough High Street. Your hips wedged between 2 bricks and will not move, up or down. Neither direction yields. The darkness is total. The air is barely air at all. It is thick, used up, hot, and you are 6 years old, alone in a stone throat, and you begin to cry, not loudly, silently. Because you have already learned in 3 days that loud crying earns you the bristle brush on your feet, the master's method for encouraging upward movement when a boy freezes. You free yourself eventually. You always do. That is the job. You do not tell anyone that you cried. No one would care. What no one tells you, what no adult in your life has the honesty or the cruelty to say aloud, is that boys sometimes do not come back out. It happens more than the newspapers report. A child wedged too tightly, air too thin, a master who waits too long before calling for help. The Thames, they say, knows the names of more chimney boys than any churchyard does. You file this information somewhere behind your eyes and keep climbing. By age 8, you are good at this. That is a horrifying sentence, and you do not yet have the words to know it. You wake before 4 in the morning in every season, including the ones where the Thames fog rolls so thick through the streets that London disappears, and there is only cold and gray and the sound of your own footsteps on wet cobblestone. You carry your brushes and your scraper on your back. You eat when Griggs remembers to feed you. Some days he does not remember. You learn that hunger, like darkness, like pain, is simply a condition of existing, not a problem to be solved. The houses you enter exist in a different world from the one you live in. In Mayfair and Belgravia, the fireplaces are 8 feet wide and faced with marble. The carpets are thick enough to swallow your feet. Once, while waiting in a hallway for Griggs to collect payment, a girl your age peers around a doorway and stares at you with open curiosity, the way you might stare at an animal at the zoological gardens. She's wearing more fabric in her dress than exists in your entire world. She does not speak to you. You do not speak to her. You look at each other across a distance that has nothing to do with the length of the hallway. The chimney sweep's disease begins somewhere around your 9th year, though you do not know what to call it. A cough that does not leave, a tightness in your chest that worsens in cold weather. The older boys call it the black spit and say it matter-of-factly, the way men in dangerous trades discuss their hazards, not with fear, but with the weary familiarity of something that was always coming. You begin to understand why their faces look the way they do. It is not blankness. It is the expression of someone who has run out of the energy required for hope. But here is the thing about being human, even a small, forgotten, soot-covered human in Victorian London. Hope does not entirely leave. It just gets quieter. It becomes something private. On warm evenings, when the job is finished and Griggs is at the pub, you sit on the rooftops above the city. The rooftops belong to no one. Up here there are no masters, no flues, no darkness, and watch the light die over the Thames. Those evenings are the only hours of your life that feel like freedom. There is only the enormous, indifferent sky and the whole burning sprawl of London laid out beneath you like it is yours. There is one more fear no one speaks of. Around your 12th year, you begin to notice that your shoulders no longer slip as easily into the narrower flues. You are growing, and in this trade, growing is its own kind of death sentence. Not biological, but economic. Boys who become too broad are discarded and replaced with smaller ones, newer ones, cheaper ones. You watch Griggs eye a young boy outside a workhouse gate one afternoon with the cold calculation of a man shopping for a tool. You know that look. Someone gave you that exact look 6 years ago. You are 13, the morning everything nearly ends. A chimney in a factory near Lambeth, wider than most, which is why Griggs sends you instead of the smaller boys. The flue connects to a furnace that was supposed to be cold. It is not cold. Somewhere below you, a worker restarts the fire without checking the shaft. The first sign is heat, a sudden radical intensification of the air around your legs. Then smoke, not the ordinary dead smoke of an unlit flue, but live, roiling, gray-white smoke that has no patience. You climb, faster than you have ever climbed anything. Back and knees, your body a machine, running on nothing but animal terror. The smoke rises faster than you do. Your eyes seal shut. Your lungs refuse. The brick beneath your fingers is hot now, genuinely hot, and you are 13 years old. And your entire existence narrows to a single, furious, biological imperative. Up, 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 and then cold air. The rim of the chimney pot, your hands finding it, your arms hauling your body through into open sky, and you collapse face down across the chimney top and breathe great, desperate, whooping lungfuls of cold London air. And below you, the city continues its noise, its carts and horses and hawkers and church bells, entirely indifferent to the fact that you almost ceased to exist in a flue above Lambeth on an ordinary Thursday morning. You will learn later, years later, from a pamphlet pressed into your hand outside a church, that chimney sweeps suffer a cancer particular to their trade, scrotal cancer, caused by decades of soot contact. Surgeons call it chimney sweeps carcinoma. It was first documented in 1775 by a physician named Percival Pott, nearly a century before your birth, which means that for 100 years, people have known what this work does to the bodies of boys and have continued sending boys to do it anyway. You sit with that fact for a long time. Nobody asks if you are injured. The job is what mattered. The job is done. That evening, on the rooftop, you do not feel the usual something like freedom. You feel for the first time the precise weight of what your life is, not with self-pity. You were not raised with enough surplus emotion for self-pity, but with a cold, clear, devastating clarity. You are not a person in this city. You are a function. You are the right size for a dark space that no one else wants to enter. You watch the sky until it is fully dark, and then you go back down. You are 31 years old when the cough finally becomes something that cannot be ignored. The doctor who examines you, a charity physician on Drury Lane, who sees men like you with the tired efficiency of someone tallying a ledger. He does not look at you when he says it. He is already writing something down. Tells you that your lungs are compromised. He uses the word significantly. Small, quick affairs with no flowers and few mourners. The way the city disposes of people that never acknowledged having. You have outlived 2 of Griggs's other boys. You know this because you attended their burials. You stand at their graves and think about all the dark shafts you have climbed in your life. All the mornings before 4. All the soot-thick air you breathed in because a flue needed cleaning, and you were the right size to clean it. Parliament, you have heard, is debating legislation. Some men in tall hats are arguing that boys should not be sent up flues anymore. That mechanical brushes can do the work instead. That children have, and apparently this needed to be argued, rights. The Chimney Sweepers Act. You think about the girl in the Mayfair hallway. You think about the rooftops. You think about the sky above Lambeth on the morning you nearly burned. You think about the girl in the Mayfair hallway. You think about the rooftops. You think about the sky high, above Lambeth, on the morning you nearly burned. There is no neat lesson here, no redemption arc wrapped in sentiment. You lived in the cracks of a city that needed you small and dark and silent, and you obliged it for 30 years because you had no other option available to you. But here is what they never put in the history books, what gets buried with the bones of boys like you in unmarked plots in South London churchyards. You were here, you were real, you climbed into the dark 1,000 times, and 1,000 times you came back out. The sky was always there, waiting, you just never had enough time in it.